In Ignite, we did that. So we took physics, that's the antithesis of NuCalm, to derive really aggressive, activating your sensory motor rhythm and creating this, battle-ready mentality. And then we added Tony Robbins.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask about those too. So Ignite is this, holy shit, man, we went into alpha, dude. I was just looking at the clock. I thought it's probably been about an hour. It's an hour 48, but I'm fascinated. So, okay, so we got that. Then Ignite is this other proprietary kind of beta version that's similar to NuCalm, but rather than it relaxing you, it gets you hyped as shit. And on some of those few tracks, because you sent me the secret login, then you've got Tony just get it in your body, just doing the Tony thing. Yeah. And it's badass. So sometimes I'll do a NuCalm. I'll be kind of, you're not groggy when you come out of it. Actually, you're quite refreshed. It doesn't, because you're bringing us out of the theta, as you said. But if I need to get up and like really be activated, or I'll do it up in my Zen den, my little biohacking thing, and do my vibe plate and the red light, and then I'll put on the Tony Ignite thing, and it gets me crazy hyper.
It's crazy.
So what's that thing doing? And when's it going to come out for people
the physics platform is the same mathematical method used for NuCalm. This is really important. Dr. Holloway has understood and built a platform where he can entrain your brainwave, okay? Pace it, modulate it. To us, it's just a matter of physiological outcome. So NuCalm is designed to take care of you. It's designed for every human on the planet, from monks to Tony Robbins. Literally, there's 7.6 billion people on the planet. Nobody seems to be effectively managing stress. And this goes right into your brainwave and says, we don't care. We're going to slow you down. We're going to put you in this theta state. Your cells are going to clean their toxins. Your mitochondria is going to get restored. We're oxygenating your body. We're removing lactic acid from your physical specimen. We're oxygenating the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and the frontal cortex. We're creating new cognition, new neuronal coherence, good focus, presence of mind. That's the value of NuCalm. So a few years back, a team from the Premier League came to me and says, hey, we love NuCalm. We love how it makes us feel. Our players are healing faster. We're preparing better. We're recovering better. We don't have jet lag. We love it. Can you make us something that gets us excited before we get on the pitch? And I thought to myself, we can do anything. We're one of the best scientists on the planet. Okay. So I called Dr. Holloway and said, hey, doc, this is what we want. He said, okay. 6 months later, I got a track that was 15 minutes long. It starts at 15 hertz. 15 hertz is just below focus. Focus is 16 hertz. Okay. It starts at 15 hertz. And over the course of about 12 minutes, it ramps you beyond beta into gamma brainwave function. Gamma is a tight band of 39 to 41 hertz, synonymous with higher consciousness, but it's also synonymous with eliciting dopamine, activating your sensory motor rhythm, increasing your olfactory, your peripheral vision, and literally preparing you. We call it warrior brain. So the last 3 minutes of each Ignite track is pure 39 hertz warrior brain. When you work out to it, whether you're doing cardio or strength, you'll notice your strength is improved, your endurance is improved significantly. It's really quite incredible, okay? So using the same platform of physics, we just dial up a different frequency signature. So we created Ignite. All right, so we created it about 2.5 years ago. And here's what we learned. We don't want to be the same cause of accelerants like espresso, Red Bull, 5-hour energy. We can burn out your adrenals in a week. You listen to Ignite 5 to 10 times a day consecutively, you'll be on the floor. You'll have no adrenals.
Oh, shit.
That's not what we're here to do.
Right.
We're here to help you self-regulate, not push you. We know what we have. So for about 2.5 years behind the scenes, it's been a confidential beta app. We've used it with the military, the elite military. We've used it with elite professional athletes. That's all we've done. We have entertained bringing it to market, but only with the qualifier that you are a NuCalm customer. And you noticed that I didn't turn you on to Ignite until you habitualize NuCalm, because I don't want to be the person responsible for allowing humans who are addicted to adrenaline burn out their adrenals. It defeats the purpose of why we're here. So the whole purpose of Ignite is specific. It's incredible. We caution people, stop listening to it if you feel over-caffeinated. If you feel agitated, then you've had too much of Ignite. You'll also notice when you listen to it, don't listen to it after like 7 o'clock at night, because you won't go to sleep. It is that powerful. It's incredibly powerful. And this elucidates a really cool aspect of what we do in our technology. We build platform technologies. The disc is a platform. We can put any frequency in there. Right now, we're working with the United States military to do a coagulant for in the theater of war.
Whoa.
If someone gets hit and a parajumper can't get to that person, instead of them bleeding out, perhaps we could work with the disc and create a coagulant in there. We could put oxytocin in there. You would literally have the same impact of having an orgasm. We could put
Send me that one when you get.
we could put any frequency in that disc. So that's a platform
crazy
technology that we have and we're working on. Okay. The second platform is the physics and the method used to create the neuroacoustic software. So today, as we speak, as the CEO of the company, we keep things close to the vest. That's what we do. I can share with you that we have NuCalm, 10 years proof, and it works like a charm. We have Ignite. We've worked with some of the most elite athletes and military on the planet for years with it. We also have the Schumann Resonance Restore meditation file. 7.83 hertz is the Schumann Resonance, which is the magnetic rotation of the earth. It's all about grounding. So we have files for that we haven't released yet. We have a focus file, which is 15 hertz. You'll be able to listen to it and work and keep you focused, remove distractions, and literally be laser focused. We have a 15-minute track and a 30-minute track. We're working on a sleep file for Delta. You'd have to listen to it ambiently. We don't want you to have headphones. And that waveform is called isochronic waveform. We use binaural in most of our stuff, so you need a headphone because we need that frequency to the brain. An isochronic waveform can do entrainment through ambient waveform. So we're working on a Delta file for that.
Cool.
Okay?
Damn,
so
dude.
These are some of the things we have behind the scenes.
That's exciting.
And for us, we're always disciplined and our mission's always the same. We want to change the energy on this planet from positive to negative. We want to do it by remediating stress without drugs.
Negative to positive, you mean?
Negative to positive. Did I say positive to negative?
Yeah. I was like, no, don't do that.
The world doesn't need any more help there. We're good there. Okay? So we are literally doing all of our R&D to further perpetuate the ease of use and the efficacy of NuCalm. But in parallel, we're working on all this other stuff.
That's so incredible, dude. Next stacking question I have for you is, has anyone, anecdotally or in any research combined this technology with psychedelics? Whether micro or macro dosing.
On the research, we haven't seen that. But humans are amazing and they're creative. And if you're into psychedelics, you're going to use this before and after. We have heard this. NuCalm kind of obliterates any type of change to your biochemistry. So if you smoked some really good marijuana and you did NuCalm, it straightens you out.
Interesting.
That's kind of a buzzkill, right? You're like, that's not cool. However, remember I mentioned earlier, the GABAergic system is responsible for anything that relaxes your brain chemistry. So if we prime the GABAergic system, what do you think is going to happen? You're a lot more prone to any outcome, whether it's a medicament in like nitrous oxide for a surgical procedure, or it's marijuana, or it's alcohol. So if we prime the GABAergic system, which is responsible for anything that relaxes you, if you were to do NuCalm first and then smoke marijuana, or do NuCalm first and then drink alcohol, or do NuCalm first and then do a psychedelic, your experience is going to be far greater. You just need less. So you almost titrate down, right?
Interesting, yeah.
We have heard people anecdotally call me up and say, hey, I did this and smoked and it was beyond incredible. I mean, just like I was on acid just from smoking marijuana.
Right.
So when you prime all of the body's natural resistant issues, right? And you literally take the GABAergic system and say, hey, we're ready for anything that comes. That's what would happen.
Interesting.
Now, secondarily, and people who are listening will really enjoy this aspect of NuCalm, it will literally obliterate any hangover. Any hangover. A hangover typically is derived from lactic acid built up in your frontal cortex, like a battle axe to your forehead. You do NuCalm, you will not have a hangover.
Damn, I
Period.
wish I would have known that 23 years ago. Well, you guys, I guess you didn't. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've not, I don't recreationally, do drugs or psychedelics or anything like that. But I'm interested in microdosing. I've experimented a bit with that for more of a nootropic effect, not to, go trip out. But one thing I have done with NuCalm that's been interesting, I've done this a couple times, is a very low dose of ketamine. Because of it's one of the things it's really great for, not in like a raver party, like go in a K-hole and, walk in front of a truck kind of thing. But it has this really subtle yet pretty incredible dissociative effect where you're able to access consciousness, not so much psychedelic, but just like kind of like a float tank. Like if you've ever done a float tank, or people listening, if you haven't, it's a great way to get the same effect stone cold sober. But in a float tank or in a low dose of ketamine, it's like very quickly you're able to lose the sensation of your body. And so that sort of your mind and your consciousness is accessible and active. And I found not the type of thing I would do all the time, but if I really want to work on something or have a very specific purpose, maybe 2 or 3 times I've done that with NuCalm and found it to be really interesting. It's the same experience, just way less body. If you can imagine that, because the NuCalm already does give you a dissociative effect of your body, but like with a microdose of ketamine, like you literally have no body anymore at all. You're just kind of like a pile of mush in a deep meditation.
You're an energy, which is all you are anyway.
Right.
So
interesting. So I say these things with caution, because I don't want to encourage people listening like to go out and do a bunch of weird drugs. But anyway. I think that there could be something there.
Look at NuCalm as a catalyst, and it's a facilitator. So we started in dentistry 10 years ago. I knew from the literature and the research with Dr. Holloway that if this helped with PTSD and addiction, we could help anybody.
Right.
But as the CEO of the company and not the inventor, like I said earlier, in God we trust, everybody else bring data. We started in dental surgeries because lying on your back, opening your mouth, and having a dentist put instruments in your mouth elicits a fight or flight response. Your central nervous system does not think this is a good idea. So you have an acute, high stress anxiety response. That's where we did NuCalm. And what we found is that when you relax the autonomic nervous system, which is your fear, stress, anxiety, depression side of your brain, everything else is easier. So if you are still going to use nitrous oxide, you just need less because your body's not resisting it. If you need any type of medicament, any type of treatment, you need less because we've taken this aspect, the fight or flight and the resistance aspect, and we have negated it completely. So your body's more permeable. It's more permeable to anything. It's more permeable to memory consolidation, learning. If you did, we've had a lot of people do like lumosity tests before and after NuCalm, and they're like, my score was exponentially higher because you're not dealing with insecurities, expectation, and all the stuff behind your eyes telling you you're not good at whatever you're not good at.
Wow.
It eviscerates the itty bitty shitty committee, right?
Right.
I mean, you don't have it anymore after you do NuCalm enough. You're like, okay.
Cool. Someone was asking when I posted this on Instagram, the difference between, and I'd not heard of this, but something called HUSO.
Yeah.
This technology?
That's a German technology.
And then something that I really enjoy, and it's similar but a little different because it has this visual aspect, is Brain Tap. And then you mentioned the device Alpha Stim, which I don't have, but I've tried it, and it's kind of a...
Alpha Stim and Fisher-Wallace and RCES are the same. So it's transcranial direct current stimulation. Has an effect, but it's not predictable, it's not long-lasting, and everybody's different. So
Got it.
That, to us, was the weakest component of the 4-component system of NuCalm. For our technology, the stimulation device, Alpha Stim or Fisher-Wallace, was simply used as a catalyst for our amino acids.
Got it.
That's all it was.
Got it.
So that has very little impact on what we're doing. The Brain Tap piece in HUSO, the difference is the predictability, efficacy, and longevity, simply because when you look at how you get the only patent in the world for managing stress without drugs, I don't know how familiar you are with patent law, but the onus is on the company to showcase efficacy and novelty. You have to prove to a patent attorney that you've created something that's never been created before. It's pretty arduous. So we enlisted some really significant scientists from some prestigious universities to do independent studies. And here's what I believe to be the case. There are technologies out there that have sophisticated entrainment properties or sophisticated stimulation properties. Probably not as sophisticated because, again, we have the only patent for the method and the complexity of the math. But They're not managing the adrenal cortex. That disc makes our technology predictable every human being on the planet because we're negating your body's natural resistance. Everybody's different, and we're different every day. So some days you may be able to resist the neuroacoustic software with an eye mask on. But when you apply the disc and you negate the body's ability to create adrenaline, you can't. That's the difference between all of the technologies that are out there.
Got it.
Yep. So
Well
we used a method of, remember, the brain and body communicate only two ways, chemical messaging and electrical messaging. So deductive reasoning would say, if you commandeer both channels, there's no escape route for you in NuCalm. You're not getting out of it. Once you get in there, we put the disc on, the eye mask, and the music, we know where you're going.
Right.
Nowhere.
Right.
You're going into theta land, and you're going to go heal.
The last thing I want to know is why do I find this so useful for air travel and jet lag?
It's all about...
Like I would, if I left for a flight and I forgot this shit, I would freak out.
As you
honestly,
should.
I would be bombed on the
should.
plane.
As you should.
I'm always checking my pockets for my little
Hopefully you wouldn't rush the
discs
cockpit. Turn this thing around.
Land the plane. But I mean, it's like an integral part of my whole travel.
It's rather
experience now.
mind-boggling that a technology involves a disc, an eye mask, and a neuroacoustic software will negate jet lag for the rest of your life. I haven't had jet lag in 10 years. Now, you've been communicated enough to know I'll stay in Marriott properties 300 nights this year. I travel like crazy. And so for me not to have jet lag is really important. Went to China for 12 days, came back. Before I was in China, I was on Capitol Hill lobbying for NuCalm with PTSD and American veterans. Came back from there and then was in San Francisco. I mean, it's a crazy travel schedule. There's a whole regimen to it. But NuCalm resets your biorhythms. Doesn't matter if you go 13 time zones in Russia or you go, 13 hours ahead to Beijing. You're still taking your body. Now, the difference is on the plane, you're resetting your sympathetic, parasympathetic, you're creating oxygenation and healing your body through theta. But more importantly, you're just resetting your biorhythms. And then you do it the second time on the plane because it's a long flight. Then when you get there, you do it. When you get there that day and you redo it, we're really resetting you to the circadian rhythm of that localized, sun. So when the sun goes down, you kind of get tired. The next day you wake up, you do NuCalm again, no jet lag. And very few people who use this and travel a lot, we work with a lot of long-haul pilots, say the same thing. You cannot take this away from me. We've done some really cool case studies with pilots. Because pilots, like we were talking about earlier, is, corporate Americans, and you think, hey, it's a badge of honor to sleep 2 hours. Pilots, when you look at pilots, so next time you get on a plane, maybe you want to, maybe you don't, look left into the cockpit. You'll see gentlemen and ladies who look like they're 65 years old and they're 48. Because in their life, their choice of lifestyle, they chose to try to override the body's natural need for sleep and a circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is simply that, a rhythm. You can live off 5 hours of sleep as long as you get 5 hours of sleep. Your body needs that regulated rhythm. That's a circadian rhythm, okay? So we've worked with pilots and had just fascinating discussions. I don't recommend interviewing pilots because I was scared to death to fly after hearing that they're hallucinating in the cockpit because they haven't slept in, 46 hours. But they'll say, hey, we have a whole document on jet lag, by the way. Walks through all the biorhythms from your digestion and how you don't defecate for 2 to 3 days, your appetite, your sex drive, all of it. It's all biorhythm. Each organ has a different circadian rhythm as well, right? So in interviewing this one pilot, it was fascinating to me. And he said, hey, when I used to come back, it took me 2 to 3 days to regulate and be normal again. I come back now from a trip, I'm regulated that day. And more interesting to me, Jim, is that for years, I always had a cold. I haven't been sick in 3 years. Simply by using NuCalm, by regulating that. So as a jet lag tool, it's incredible. And you're right. It's the one travel tool you never want to leave behind. So all it is resetting your biorhythms in whatever localized community you're in.
I love it, dude. That's one of my main difficulties. So I'm super stoked for it for that reason too. One thing I wanted to ask you too, actually, was the timing of it in regard to making sure that it doesn't interfere with sleep. I've noticed at times if I'm working, too late, because I usually meditate, around 5 or 6. If I NuCalm too late, then I get way hyper at night, and then my sleep sucks. And I know this is supposed to improve your sleep, and I don't think it's the fault of the technology. I think it's like my timing at sometimes sucks.
So,
because I'll start to kind of get a little tired at 6, and I want another boost of work time from 7 to 9 or something like that.
You came in through influencers and to me directly, right? So you had a straight line to the CEO of the company, and I gave you a lot of information. But when you're learning a new technology, information overload. In that technology and in all the literature I ever shared with you, I would always say don't do NuCalm after 7 o'clock at night, because you will have the most productive, lonely night of your life. You'll absolutely kick ass, and you'll have no one to share it with, because you should be sleeping. But because you NuCalmed, and remember this, according to the research done by Chung-Kang Pang, one of the world's leading statistical biophysicists, he measured and showed that every 20 minutes of NuCalm was equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. So if you NuCalm for an hour at 7 o'clock at night, you just got 6 hours of restorative sleep. Not sleep, not stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. You got the key theta restorative sleep. Your cells clean their toxins, your mitochondria is restored. So you're getting the best, most concentrated healing sleep that you can get, and you got 6 hours of it. So you're wide awake. So after 7 o'clock, we caution people, do not do NuCalm. Now, there are a lot of people that work with us and have NuCalm who are older. And invariably, as we're in our 60s, 70s, or 80s, our sleep architecture is compromised by a myriad of things, from disease to just raising kids and grandkids or whatever. So we have the 15-minute rule for those folks. Everyone has NuCalm in their bedroom, and they'll say, hey, if you get up at 3 a.m. to urinate and you can't get back to sleep, and you're sitting there and you're getting upset because you're trying to solve world hunger and solve problems that mean nothing in the middle of the night, 15 minutes, you can't get back to sleep, get on NuCalm.
That's what I did last night.
So just put the headphone on, the eye mask. You don't even need the eye mask because it's dark. And they just go. And it helps with the onset. And then they'll wake up, an hour or 2, 3 hours later.
And then do you see any reason why? Because I usually meditate for 20 minutes when I wake up. And if I'm going to be sitting there for 20 minutes, like I said, I'm going to stack things. So I'll do the 20-minute power nap.
Yes.
For my morning meditation, which is usually by the time I take a shower and kind of drink some water, it's about an hour after I woke up and out of bed. Do you think that's going to have any negative impact? Or
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
So for most people, we caution them.
I'll meditate just while I'm doing my Vedic meditation, which any traditional Vedic practitioners would be like, you're not meditating if you're listening to this. But I find that it assists in that first meditation, which typically my brain's much more active in the morning.
So your cortisol is at the highest level in the morning. It's getting you out of sleep. Okay. And NuCalm is a 50-minute track. The 50-minute NuCalm track doesn't mean you have to be in there for 50 minutes. It just is, that's how the brain kind of works, right? So you're just done when you're done. You might be in for 35 minutes one time and more than an hour another time. The 20-minute power nap was a really big advancement, because Dr. Holloway cautioned us and said, hey, you can't just take people into theta. You need that ramp. He calls it the departure lounge. I need to prepare people to go into theta. So the 20-minute power nap was built for people who meditate and people that use NuCalm a lot. It's a concentrated version of NuCalm. It's a faster descension into theta. You ride the theta out, and then it's a rise into alpha. In addition to the actual NuCalm concentrated version from 50 minutes to 20 minutes, we also added some elements from Ignite. That's why there's a more of an energy push when you get out of the power nap. So for me, and for a lot of athletes, a lot of military, first thing in the morning, because the schedule won't allow for 50 minutes, we'll do recovery 2, recovery 3 first thing in the morning. I'll get up early to do that. That makes up any sleep debt I've accumulated. Then as the day goes, I will sneak in a 20-minute power nap between 2 and 4. When the body's natural biorhythm wants to take a nap, I'll do the concentrated NuCalm because I don't have a lot of time, but it gives me that extra energy boost.
Cool.
So it's all up to you, your biorhythm, what works for you. The only cautionary tale is don't do NuCalm too late, or you'll have those events where you're like, wow, I'm going to work like crazy.
Blown it. I think 7, I think even for me, like after 5, I tend to have that happen. If I do like one of the 50-minute ones and I just go into the zone, I come out super energized.
Yeah, and you're wondering,
I don't want to go to bed.
And you're going to be really effective, and the experience lasts so long. I mean, literally, you're clear-headed for hours after NuCalm. It's wild.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things on the horizon. One, we will be launching Ignite.
Cool.
We won't keep it under the vest for the rest of our existence. We are launching our first new track in over a year. Remember, I told us it takes like 6 months, like brain surgery. We've created a 432 hertz version of the 20-minute power nap. The 20-minute power nap is not ideal, but humans are crazy, and you can't fight them. You got to go with them. And it was fascinating to me. I've NuCalm thousands of people across the world, right? From, whatever, Joe Schmo at a grocery store clerk to some of the top celebrities in the world. Okay? Everybody's the same. Everybody's human. Everybody has stress. Everybody has their itty-bitty shitty committee. Everybody has their inner narrative. Everybody has their concerns and insecurities. You want them to do the 50-minute power nap. But it's fascinating to me when I first see them and say, hey, do you have 30 minutes to do this? They panic. You literally can see the panic in their eyes. They're like, oh my God. And I think to myself, you don't have 1/48th of your day to take care of you? It's shameful. Shameful of our culture that we don't feel we can take care of ourselves in 1/48th of the day. So then, because the math said 20 minutes is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep, we challenged Dr. Holloway to make a 20-minute power nap. We did that, and then the math is easy. Do you have 20 minutes? And it's amazing. It's only 10 minutes more. But everyone's like, the compliance rate is through the roof. And you just say, hey, you don't have 1/72nd of your day to take care of you? So what's interesting to us is we can see all the metadata. And I know that the 20-minute power nap is
you can see how many times people are using it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
We can see it.
And you can see if people make it, how long they make it through each session.
We can see the favorite tracks, the time of day, the length of time they're doing it.
Oh, cool.
And here's what we've learned. 20-minute power nap is the most popular track we ever created. Because people think because Recovery 2 says 50 minutes, you have to do it for 50 minutes. They're not reading the literature. You don't have to do it for 50 minutes. You'll do it as long as your brain needs it, whether it's 30 minutes, 28 minutes, 42 minutes, an hour and a half. It's not up to us. It's up to your brain. So the more you do it, the more your brain balances the autonomic nervous system, the less time you're on NuCalm. So if you're doing NuCalm enough and you're self-regulated, you're not jet lagged and whatever, you should be in NuCalm between 28 and 34 minutes. That's a natural biorhythm for someone who's healthy and well-balanced. That's it. So it's fascinating to me to see everyone's always taking shortcuts. And I'm like, if the 20-minute power nap was designed for afternoon and a concentrated version when you don't have time. But I caution people to make the time because as you've felt it with NuCalm, if you get rid of stress and all the stuff that comes along with stress and you're restored and you don't have jet lag or sleep debt, you perform at an exceptional level. It took me about 7 months as the CEO of this company to understand that equation because as a type A go-getter, I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Then after doing it enough and seeing the research, I said, wait a second. If I invest 30 minutes of my day into NuCalm, it repays me with about 16 hours of clear, focused, energized, present work. I like that equation. That's worth the investment. So the first 7 months of running this company, I wasn't using it regularly. The last 9 years and 5 months, every day. Sometimes I cheat and do it twice a day.
Well, you had me when you told me Roger Waters uses it before he goes on stage.
Roger Waters.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in. He knows.
Well, he's a man of incredible intellect, creativity, but also just amazingly determined to share his music and his influence with the world. I mean, for a man at 75 years old to do a 2-year global tour is incredible.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And so for you and I, we travel. We're not 75 years old. It wears you out. That's amazing to me. Yeah, and that came way of his personal trainer. His personal trainer is a gentleman named Josh Holland out of New York City. And he's into all the latest biohacks. And he got turned on to NuCalm and was on tour with Roger and said, hey, this is a tool that's really going to help you manage through this challenge, which is a global tour for 2 years. And working with musicians is incredible because, like you said, they're constantly trying to pick apart the melody and the scale, and it's hard for them to turn their brain off. So we actually did some really cool stuff with him and actually made some specific tracks of just environmental sounds to get rid of the melodic distraction.
Because he's like, yeah, I can see that. He's going to be like, oh, next I would put this note in that one.
Yeah, and that's not what we want. We want you dissociated. We need you to dissociate so we can take you into theta.
Cool, man. Well, shit, Jim, I think we've covered it, man. Thank you so much. I'm stoked. I'm excited. And for those listening, and I'm sure I'll cover this in the intro too, we've got a $500 off for you too. If you go to NuCalm.com, that's NuCalm.com, and enter the code Luke500, you can get yourself on this. Because I know right now, if I was listening to this, I'd be like, all right, I didn't need to listen to 2 hours of this shit. Give me it now. So thank you for the sweet discount for our listeners. I appreciate that.
My words of wisdom to the planet is take care of yourself. Early in this podcast, we talked about stress and the expense it has on you from emotional, psychological, and physical, but it's going to kill you. And NuCalm isn't the only answer. It happens to be a very predictable shortcut, and that predictability is really important. But you can do yoga, Tai Chi, mindfulness, breathing. You can do a lot of things, but you have to do it. You can't postpone it till tomorrow. You can't constantly ask your body to step up and be more resilient. You're asking too much of your body and your mind, and you have to stop the chaos. I challenge people to go to sleep and be accepting that you didn't get your to-do list done for tomorrow, because on that to-do list is not curing cancer and solving world hunger and our water crisis. It's little stuff, and we get so caught up in the little stuff, and we're in this quadrant of having to do these little things. That's not what life's about. And I ask you to take care of you so you can be there for the ones who love you and need you the most. And that's your children and your friends. And when you're stressed out, you're not present. You're not hearing them. You're not engaged. Don't think for 1 second they don't feel it. So do something like NuCalm. And it's not inexpensive. It's $4,695. You're not paying for a disc and an app and an eye mask. You're paying for 17 years of research and development and millions of dollars of research and regulatory and FDA. That's how the world works. I tell people, say, when you buy a pill, a Viagra pill does not cost $73 to make. You're buying access to an outcome. So it is an expensive device. We get that. But yes, Luke asked for a discount, and we honored that with $500 off, and it's really simple. And if you get NuCalm, it's a real simple equation. Use it. If you use it, you'll be very, very pleased, and so will your family. If you're not going to use it, do yourself a favor. Don't buy it. It's a real simple equation. We don't need another dust collector. We want to take care of you. That's why we're here.
I got one last question for you. It's a question I ask every guest, except I think I might have missed one recently with Shaman Durek. I realized that the other day because I always remember, but that one time it got me. So you've taught me tons today about so many different aspects of health and feeling good. Who have been 3 teachers or teachings in your life that you might instruct our listeners to go check out?
Wow, that's a great question. So I'm a musician as well. So music has always inspired me. Music hasn't taught me to take care of me, but I'll tell you my favorite musician is Jimmy Page.
Oh, nice. That's funny, dude. Yesterday we had David Perlmutter in here, and Joe, who helps me with these recordings, was screwing on the guitar and started playing some Zeppelin. What was he playing? You were playing Ramble On? Yeah, and all of a sudden Perlmutter starts singing Ramble On, and then they had this whole blues jam. I was like, man, that's cool. I think I should integrate like a jam session. We should have done it with you. But yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
The second person is a gentleman by the name of Brother Craig Marshall, who's a yoga nun and monk. And he was a confidant to several very important people in our culture, Steve Jobs being one of them, George Harrison being another. 35 years yoga nun and monk, exceptionally gifted spiritually, and just a real pragmatist. I was with him yesterday. So he has definitely been a teacher for me. And then Dr. Holloway. To have access to a mind as complicated and sophisticated as his, it's almost like playing Trivial Pursuit with the masters. There's no question you can ask him, from arts to science to history. But the most fascinating aspect in the learning for me has been the brain. I spent 10 years surrounded by some of the world's top scientists. So you'll never get bored doing my job because you're constantly learning, because we're constantly knowing that we know so little about the brain. So that's Dr. Holloway, Brother Craig Marshall, and Jimmy Page I don't know, but I would like the opportunity to know. I want to share with the listeners just one more aspect. NuCalm is a gift to humanity. It's a predictable tool that'll never let you down. It will never let you down. And I look at it in the corner of my bed and I say, how does that disc and the headphone and the iPhone and the iMask do this? It's incredible. It will never let you down. But some people are going to want to try it before they invest in the technology. There's a place called Recover, capital R, small e, cover, C-O-V-E-R, in New York, right near Madison Square Garden. They've built a business around recovery tools. From CVAC to infrared saunas to compression boots, they have 6 NuCalm systems or stations. And people in New York, the hotbed of stress in America, use it every day.
Oh,
and
that's
a
cool.
Great place to go. And they charge $45 for 30 minutes of NuCalm, and it's by far their bestseller. In fact, I was just interviewed by CBS Saturday Morning News with Recover. And then locally here, Dr. Michael Gallitzer, who's an exceptionally gifted clinician, was a UCLA trauma surgeon, and left there to study energy medicine. And he's the energy medicine to the stars. You asked me how Tony Robbins got interested in NuCalm. Michael Gallitzer has a practice here in Wilshire Boulevard, and he's someone that you could go and try NuCalm as well. So,
cool.
Because, you always want, you don't need to go to a dentist to try NuCalm or go to a Tony Robbins event to try NuCalm, but there's 2 people bi-coastal that are really good ambassadors. They understand technology well, and they've put NuCalm on a lot of people.
Oh, awesome. We'll put those 2 locations in the show notes, because I think with some of these things that are pricey, people are a little like, it sounds cool, but Jesus Christ, I could buy like a used car, you know what I mean?
Good.
So I think that's cool. And some people that just aren't.
But a used car, you guys will stress you out, okay?
But some people just, for whatever reason at this time in their life aren't in a position as much as they're like, oh my God, if I had the money, that'd be the thing. And
we do offer payment plans too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we never want money to stop people from taking care of themselves.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I really think one of the emerging businesses, models that's going to really blow up is these recovery centers, biohacking centers, healing centers. I mean, there's just a new one, I forget the name, I'm going to go check out down on Sunset that has the infrared saunas and hyperbaric. And not everyone wants to have all this stuff in their house, and certainly not everyone can afford to do so, or they'd rather take their family on vacation.
No, not everybody has a biocharger here in Hollywood Hills.
Well, it sucks though. I mean, my friends and family know they can roll through anytime and do a NuCalm or biocharger. Not together though, now we realize, but it sucks though, because a lot of people that I don't know personally will be like, I want to come try all this stuff. And so I've been working on a way that people that listen to the show or follow me on social media can experience some of these things. And I think what it's going to end up shaping into is doing some retreats that really combine all these modalities where I can bring, probably not that large of a group of people, but a select group of people that are really dedicated, and they can come in and not only learn about all of these different things from breath work to Kundalini yoga to tea ceremonies to NuCalm to the biocharger, and take people away, sequester them for a few days, and just download all this stuff and give them the opportunity to try it. So that's something that's kind of a brainchild I have for the coming years, an opportunity.
That'd be incredible
to do more of that, because I can't really. There's liability in having people come over to my house, and it's just weird,
Well, you also travel a lot.
Yeah, you want to have.
So if they're coming to your house, you're not here. That's even more weird.
Yeah, you want to have your privacy and whatnot. But yeah, I've been really looking at like how I can get people together and
you also be
make an
cautionary
impact.
Because a lot of times people are seeking silver bullets. So some of the people that will come to your house could be the craziest people in the area.
yeah. I mean, I guess, someday I could have my podcast studio at a commercial space or something and have all my stuff there, and, people could come. But the best I can figure out now is like friends and family, inner circle can just come here whenever. And then, I can create some really unique experiences for people. I think that's one of the cool things about the Tony Robbins events is, his model is not to be a trade show for shit that you sell, but you can go there and do NuCalm at some of his events. Biocharger. I already knew about the biocharger, and I shit my pants when I walked in and saw 20 of those things. I was like, yeah, Tony nails it once again.
Yes.
The Osteo Strong, and he's involved in some cool stuff. So,
well, he vets it. He's very bright. He goes through it himself, uses it. And if he likes it, I think it's an incredible gift to be like, hey, this is something I like.
Yeah, I think
whether
so
he's a part of it or not. He's not a part of our company. He just likes NuCalm, and we value him, and it takes care of him and takes care of his family, and he wants his greater family is the people he goes out there and serves.
Yeah, I like that. I'm looking forward to finding a
Tony
way to
Robbins,
do that
look out!
way.
Luke Storey's coming.
Yeah, he can't go on forever, man. Come on. All right, Jim. Thanks for joining me today, dude.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Really great to get to hang in person.
Most excellent. Thank you very much.